Hi guys, and welcome back here to the Dev Realm, and today we're going to be carrying on our MMO series. And if you guys remember, what we did here on the last episode is that we have created now the join session, right? So now when you go here back to our levels and we open up our main menu, and now I press play, and now I have the ability to, let's say, start with this character, create a new session, and then I go back and play here. Give it a couple of seconds. While that play, I can also move my character and do all sorts of things. And now I can go back in here and press join, and then after a couple of seconds my character appears there, and I can just join with my character. All right, so what I'm going to be doing here today is that I'm going to be creating here, fixing all those issues as well, but also most important of all, the goal of this video is to make sure that we can play with a character that we chose, the layout we selected, and then we can maybe start to fix that bug where we can replicate that character style across. All right, so this first bug here is something that's been happening for a while. So the thing to fix this, let's just make sure we click on that error. That's happening right here, and I think it's saying that it's access none, trying to read main widget reference, and then it's trying to edge to basically do that on the viewport, right? So the problem that's happening here is that it's only creating on the widget client. So what I need to do here is that I'm going to call is valid. And if it's valid, I'm just going to make sure it goes right there. I'm going to compile and save, press play. Now I shouldn't have that issue happening anymore. Not enough login credentials. So not enough login credentials to launch all the PA. All right. Maybe if, let me double check here. We may need to do, because this is already running on the client. All right, let's do it properly. Okay. So the issue that's happening here is that we are trying to basically create an instance of our widget on the server. And that's not allowed because the server doesn't care about the widgets, right? So to fix this problem, we're going to create here a custom event called API start main menu widget. And by the way, guys, this issue, it's very unlikely to happen on the server. It's like really unlikely, but let's rather fix it now. So that's going to be reliable, and we're going to call this here. Compile and save, and let's see what's going to happen. There's an error that I think we can safely, maybe can we ignore that? Let's see. So pressing play, still getting that error right here. Let me uncomment that and see what's going to happen. Yeah, it's still throwing that error. I'm not sure what is that. Oh, yeah. Okay. Pardon me. That's because we added our Steam to our default engine, and that's causing the issue because we don't have a Steam ID. But anyway, we can ignore that for now. We don't need to worry about this. But anyway, go our widget here. Now, what I'm going to do is when we are pressing, I'm just going to play here standalone for now. When I press play, I want to make sure that when I create a new session, I can load my right character data. Because right now, if you guys remember, I have this issue that if I try to edit the red character, it doesn't load that on our widget. So if I press play here, when I press play with him, it's loading a completely different data. Right, to fix that problem, we are going to go back to our main level. We're going to go back to our blueprints, game modes. We're going to open up our base player. And here's where we need to, sorry, not that. The main gameplay. I'm going to open up our player controller. And here's the thing. Here's where we're going to do certain things. Right. Now, remember that we added this to do and fix this after. So we're going to delete that and we're going to fix this one right now. Right. So when we load the game, we get a current game instance. We create an instance, we cast it to a certain type. And then in here, we're like simulating that we're selecting, let's say, a kind of a game instance. But because we don't have a valid game instance, that was throwing error. So this can go. We don't need to worry about that. But now we can connect this player object right here. We can connect it, this one right there. And in theory, this should load the right data. So if I do a new session, there we go. Right. The hair is not loading properly, but I think that's to do, maybe they were using some parts that they're not properly set up. But let's see if you can figure out this one. So we're going to press play, and we're going to press play with that character. So you got the color, and we got everything more or less loading properly. And let's check here what's happening here, why it's not loading. So first of all, I'm going to delete all my saves, right? I'm going to delete that. Good. Now let's, or another alternative, if you guys want to delete your saves, you just go back to our projects here, and arcade, no, that's the wrong place. Survival, the MMO project, save games, and there you go. I'm just gonna delete this, don't need to worry about that. Now I'm gonna press play, and I'm gonna create a new character, which is blue hair, and I'm gonna call this test. All right, nice. Now I'm gonna play with test, and I'm gonna create a new session. And the only thing that's not really changing is his hair. For some reason, the hair, it's a little bit broken. Right, so let's try and figure out why is the hair not loading up properly. All right. So what I think that's happening is that we can first check which one is the right part that we're sending. If you guys remember, our hair has like a special part. It has a special name called hair 2. All right. So the hair 2 here is setting up properly, which means that we may have a problem with our player, let's say, parts, right? And I think I know what it is. Right. The problem is that if I uncomment this for now, press play, all right? And press play with that, the character has the right hair color. What's happening here is that we need to execute in a certain order first. We need to change the player color, we need to change the gender first, and things like this. So what we have to do here is that we need to run this, change player gender first, so that will set all the parts that needs to be set and have all the colors and everything that we need. And then we change the player color, and then we start to add the player hair, and so on, so forward, right? Now let me just do this one right here. Great. Now we are gonna set our character creation mode to false. Let's double check what is this one happening, because right now I think that is throwing an error, because when I press play, I know that's working, that's fine. Oh, I see, it's because I commented out that part. Nice. Now if I go back here and I edit my character, let's say red or yellow. Now I go back and press play here. There we go. I have the right color, which is really good. That's exactly what I wanted to do here. Nice. So now the last thing that we gotta do here is that on our player controller, I think on event graph, we're doing all this stuff, and I'm just gonna call an event here called set mouse show mouse cursor. Yeah, That's the one I wanted to set. I'm going to make sure that's false. And I'm going to set game mode to game only. And the player controller is going to be self, right? So if I compile and save that, and I press play, even if I edit my player, I should go back to normal after. That's what I wanted. All right, now I have the player loaded. Now we have now to try to test this to load with more players in the scene, right? And that's where testing this is going to be a little bit, let's say, annoying to test, but we can try. Now, so if I, let's say, play with 2 players and I press play, right? I'm going to put this screen here, this screen there, and I am going to play here, and I'm going to create a new session. That's fine. I'm going to create a new character. It's going to be a female. It's going to have this hair, and it's going to be called test 2. All right. So we have a male and a female character. So if I press that I want to play a test, and now I have my character right here. Great. Now let's see if that's going to happen. So that's loaded. If I press join, it's going to take a while. Now I can see that my player here, like this guy can see the right colors here, but the person who just joined the thing, I can't see the right replication here. I can't, see the right setup of my character, right? And that's where things get a little bit complicated, right? So we need to basically understand when a player joins, and then we need to trigger some events. So I know for a fact that, let me just Google quickly, Unreal Engine event when player join session. We have this thing here. Let me see. We go on the game player, it's leaving. I think I remember. So when we go back to our game instance, which is our game mode, we have something called player join or network. Let's check for network. When locate has authority, make property. Join game, join session. No, that's something else. Hi guys, yeah, so I'm back here. I just did some research, and there is this event here called onPost login, which basically, if I print here, and I'm gonna print my player name, I'm gonna compile and save that. Where's my other map here, right? When I created my level, so let's say I created player 1 and everything's running, you see that servers knows that I already joined the server. So if I press play here and sorry, that's the wrong thing. I need to just wait. I'm just gonna put it there. Here, press play, new session. Then I'm gonna go back here, press play, still loading up. We're still gonna, by the way, we're still gonna fix up this login screen. We're gonna add some loadings or some animation to make this a little bit decent, but for now it's just testing. Once we figure out this thing, we can make sure that we can work on the UI first after. So now if I press join, now you see the server, it identified that I logged in, that I entered, right? And now I can basically, do all sorts of things and replicate for the characters, right? So what we need to do here is that we need to basically tell the client that you have joined the server. So we need to basically tell, look, this new person has joined the server, which means that it's gonna, let's say, loop around all the other characters on the server and tell them to replicate their appearances for everyone. And that's it's not complicated to do. It's just something that we have to do here. So when we join, remember that we have created on our controller, if we go back here to the player event, remember that we have the player appearance and we have the multicast, right? This, it's gonna be client, right? Now that we have this thing here running on the client, right, we can basically say, look, why don't you guys just refresh all the other users and tell everyone else about your appearances and all sorts of things, right? So what we need to do here basically is that when we join, we need to get for every individual character that we have in the game, and we need to tell the server to basically run, let's say, this replication feature or something, right? So I'm gonna create a new event to handle this, because this one, we could probably use that, but maybe what we could do here, right? Maybe what we could do here is the following. We're gonna just give some space, right? And we are gonna create here a custom event, and we are gonna call this API player join server. All right, this, I want to make sure that runs on the server, make sure it's reliable. And the problem that I think I have here is that if I connect it straight away like this, it's not gonna work. So I need to basically tell the server to replicate that player alone, right? So what we need to do here is that we're gonna get our current player appearance. Well, actually, let's try to do like this. It may work. I don't know. It may be the case that it works, and because I'm not sure, right? So when the player joins the game, right? When a new player joins the game, what I would like to do is that I want to get find, let's say, find all, find classes, or find actor, actor of class. Get all actor of class. There we go. And the class that I want to get here is that I would like to get this, BP MMO player controller, right? And now I can try maybe to print, and I can try to get the length, right? So if I have two, that means that I have two players. So when I press play here, I'm going to create a game. Don't worry about that. So I have one. Now if I press play here and I wait a couple of seconds, and then when I join the game, I should see, let's say, two people appearing on the screen. Two loading, two. Nice. Which means that I have two controllers. Great. Now, I'm going to add a little delay. All right. A little delay. Let's say 2 seconds or 1 second, doesn't matter. Now, what I'm going to do here is that I'm going to create a for each loop. All right. And I'm going to call this API join the server, right? And that should, in theory, replicate both on client and on the server. So let's see if that's going to work. Hi guys, yeah, so after some debugging and testing, there's a couple of things that we have to do here in order to sync our player colors properly. All right. So the first thing I want to do here is that on our gameplay MMO, this object here, right? We have this on post login event. So we're going to wait for 2 seconds. Then we're going to cast that to our controller. We're going to edit that to our player controller, right? And then what we're going to do here is that for all the players already added, we're gonna call a function on the client that I created called set post login appearance. And I just mistyped that. That should be set. All right. Now, when we do this, we are passing the appearance that we have on the client at the time. All right. Because we assume that the client appearance is the right one. There's problems in trusting the client. You can kind of mess up, but we're gonna make it so we download the save. So in this way we can actually load our appearances from here. But anyway, so now that we have our player appearance, we are gonna call this thing here on the server that we are passing that information here. And by the way, we're probably gonna do this, but the right way is to get the data from the server, but I don't have a server yet, so I'm gonna use the client. All right. So now that we have this stuff, we're gonna call this that runs on a multicast. And here's the important part. Here's where things get a little bit complicated, because remember when we define those methods on the base player, we have defined and then like as set gender and set gender, for example, is not replicated. So we need to go ahead and make sure that it's a multicast and replicate. We're gonna compile and save. We're also gonna go back to the change player controller, make sure it's a multicast and replicate. We're gonna go back to the change player here and also multicast and replicate. And I think I need maybe this one as well. Well, this one runs on the client. It doesn't matter. We don't care about that. All right. So let's see if it's gonna work. Right. So, oh, sorry. I'm playing on the wrong map. So now if I open up here my main menu and I press play, I'm just gonna put this on the left. Right. So if I press with the first player, we have a yellow. And the other one, I don't really remember the color. I think it's blue. Okay, that's blue. So it's a woman. Nice. So so this is yellow, and that one should have the yellow hair, right? Let's just wait here to load up. And I'm gonna press join, and hopefully that we have everything set up and replicated. And look at that. We have our characters matching colors. And also, actually, just to, why not? I'm just going to create here, let's say, 4 players. Let's see if my graphics card can handle this. Madness. I'm going to put here, here, and that. Right. So, player 1, yellow. All right. I'm going to create, let's say, test 03. And this guy is going to be, let's say, blue. And I'm going to save that. And I'm going to create a new character called test 05. And it's going to be a female. And it's going to have this, it's going to be bold, right? All right, so we just going to edit, save, edit. Oh, it crashed. Great. It's because I'm stressing up my engine. It happened. So my idea now is that I just want to I want to open up here and show you guys how we can play now with 4 different people, and then how all those let's say players, they can replicate their, let's say, red, yellow, blue, and green, and all that color. Right. My engine, it's back and running. Now I have all this stuff set up, so I'm gonna put it here. Actually, I want force. There you go. Here, I want that, and I want this one. No, that's the wrong one. Yes, I wanna. My gosh, so hard. Jesus. Right. We're gonna press play here. Create a new session. And we're gonna play with that person. We're gonna play with this person. We're gonna play with that person. All right. Now, this guy, it's gonna wait right here. Now I'm gonna join with that. Okay, replicate it. Great. Now I'm gonna join with this. I'm gonna join with that. And now we should start to get all replicated. Look at that. We have a group of players walking around and they all change their colors and yeah, that's really cool, guys. We really did here, you know, something that it's very hard. This thing is really hard to do in Unreal Engine. It's like, especially even like, you know, for me here right now, I'm very impressed with this thing. I'm very like, yes, I managed to do something cool. Because I don't have as much as experience with replications. I have a little bit. I worked with an asset before, but you see, when you start to put all these things together, it's very nice and very fun. So what I would like you guys to do here is that to instead of going to the next lesson, just pause here and then, you know, explore colors, explore parts, and maybe try to add, let's say, you know, maybe even, you know, download that part, edit on Blender, and try to edit your own parts, right? Try to do that. And then when you come back here with let's say a different part of your character and try to replicate that. But anyway, I'm very excited about this. I'm very happy. We fixed a huge problem in our game. That's our like core here. I was very worried about this. I wanted to fix this as much as I could, and now it's working properly. And then you guys can see how does that work and how does that replicate. And the good thing here, guys, is that only happened on the client. We are telling these things to happen on the client. I think it happens on the server as well, but it's fine. It's just another stress that we're setting up. But once again, thank you very much for watching, and I see you guys in the next one.